Hello, friends from wherever you dwell in the galaxy. We've got a Star Wars news roundup for you, and there are some really interesting stories to cover, so let's jump right into it. A trailer for the new LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga just released, and I have to say, it looks really good. I grew up playing the LEGO Star Wars games. The original trilogy was the first full-price game I think I ever bought. I was in love with them. In this new game, you can play from all 9 movies in the Skywalker Saga, and from the trailer, the prequel and the original trilogy seem to be very different than the original games that I played, so it looks like the developers are doing a lot to make them fresh. One of the coolest new elements of this game is what looks like more of an open world concept, instead of a hub world with different levels like the previous games. This looks so cool, and I am stoked to see how it actually plays. Definitely a game I'll be getting once it releases in spring of 2022. Now a fun little news about VR. Anyone ever played with a VR headset? I did one of those headset things for the Switch. You know, the Switch cardboard, when I visited my cousin a couple years ago, and it was pretty fun. Got to blast aliens and such. Well, ILMX Lab, Lucasfilm's award-winning immersive entertainment studio, are releasing a sequel to the Star Wars Tales from the Galaxy's Edge VR game released back in November of 2020 for the Oculus Quest systems. Apparently it has a, quote, strong Indiana Jones meets Star Wars vibes, which is an obvious pairing considering Lucas wrote the story for Indiana Jones, with Lawrence Kasdan penning the screenplay right after The Empire Strikes Back. From the trailer, the game has you traveling to the planet Batuu, solving puzzles in the ruins of an ancient Jedi temple, which honestly sounds pretty darn fun to me. Overall, I think it's neat to see the storytelling of Star Wars expanding into different mediums like VR. This is the future, people. The game will be released for the Oculus Quest systems this fall. And speaking of Star Wars branching out, a new trailer for Star Wars Visions recently released, and boy oh boy, it looks phenomenal. In case you haven't heard about Visions yet, this will be a series of 9 animated shorts created by 7 Japanese anime studios. James Waugh, the executive producer of the series and Lucasfilm VP of Franchise Content and Strategy, says this. Quote, Lucasfilm is partnering with 7 of the most talented anime studios in Japan to bring their signature style and unique vision of the Star Wars galaxy to this inspired new series. Waugh goes on to say that, quote, their stories showcase the full spectrum of bold storytelling found across Japanese animation, each told with a freshness and a voice that expands our understanding of what a Star Wars story can be, and celebrates a galaxy that has been such an inspiration to so many visionary storytellers. Now, some may say a series like this is actually a long time in coming. As I'm sure you may know, when George Lucas first envisioned Star Wars, he pulled from tons of different influences. Westerns like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, science fiction, fighter pilot movies like Wings, and also Japanese samurai movies from director Akira Kurosawa, like The Hidden Fortress, and Seven Samurai. Many of these influences have been incorporated into recent content. The Western influences into shows like The Mandalorian, and fighter pilots in the upcoming movie Rogue Squadron. So it's really nice to see the Japanese side of Star Wars getting a little love. If you're not new to anime, you'll know that subbed versus dubbed is a big deal, and thankfully there's something here for everyone. Stories will come with their original Japanese voice actors with subtitles, but for those people who choose to watch it in English, the voice actors are top-notch, including Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Lucy Liu, George Takei, Alison Brie, Jordan Fisher, and even Temuera Morrison, who will be appearing to voice Boba Fett in one of the episodes. Now, this new series won't strictly be canon, but as the name Visions suggests, this could be giving us a glimpse into a possible future of the franchise. Star Wars has already had huge success with their animated series in The Clone Wars, Rebels, and more recently The Bad Batch, so anime could be the next untapped treasure. Are you as excited about this series as I am, and about this possible new branch of Star Wars content? Let us know in the comments below. This entire anthology drops into Disney Plus this year on September 22nd. Now, some really exciting news for all you Rebels fans out there in the galaxy. Yet another report that Sabine Wren is being cast to appear in the new upcoming Ahsoka show. This report dropped almost casually in an article by The Hollywood Reporter. Quote, Ahsoka Tano, the fan-favorite Jedi, appeared in animation in 2008 before Rosario Dawson made the jump to live action in The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, Dawson is leading a live-action Ahsoka spin-off for Disney Plus, with sources saying Lucasfilm is looking for an actress to star opposite Dawson as Mandalorian warrior Sabine Wren. Now, this may be something that fans were already expecting from where we last saw Sabine at the end of Rebels. Spoiler warning ahead if you haven't seen Rebels yet. The final scene of Rebels takes place sometime after the Battle of Endor in Episode 6, and we saw Sabine Wren meeting up with Ahsoka to go find Ezra Bridger, who we last saw disappearing into hyperspace with Grand Admiral Thrawn. We know in The Mandalorian that Ahsoka was looking for Thrawn, so the question is whether this encounter took place before the last scene of Rebels or after it. Dave Filoni has always been coy about this. Filoni says regarding the last scene of Rebels, quote, "It's an interesting one. That's not necessarily chronological. I think the thing that people will most not understand is they want it to go in a linear fashion, but as I learned as a kid, nothing in Star Wars really works in a linear fashion. So it's possible that the story I'm telling in The Mandalorian actually takes place prior to that. Possible. I'm saying it's possible." My personal guess is that Ahsoka's appearance in The Mandalorian takes place before the final Rebel scene. Then, sometime after that, Ahsoka meets up with Sabine to find Ezra and Thrawn together. This could be where the new Ahsoka series picks up. My hope is that Sabine is more of a central character in the series, not just a cameo like Ahsoka was for The Mandalorian. Either way, more news like this is really exciting, and I can't wait to see how this plays out when the Ahsoka series is finally released. Speaking of more series, it looks like both the Andor and Kenobi shows have finished filming. We know from sources like the Bespin Bulletin that filming has concluded for the Andor show. Teased as a kind of spy thriller by the sizzle reel released last year, this show will follow Cassian Andor in his fight with the Rebels before Rogue One, a fight that, according to the movie, he has been in since he was 6 years old. Rogue One was honestly one of my favorite Star Wars movies, and I'm excited for more of Andor's story and to see more of that grittier side of Star Wars. As for the Kenobi series, numerous actors have moved on to other projects, indicating that they have finished filming. The Hollywood Reporter mentioned that Pride and Prejudice actor Rupert Friend had, quote, recently wrapped shooting a role in Lucasfilm's Star Wars series Obi-Wan Kenobi, end quote, before moving on to his next project, a new Wes Anderson film. Game of Thrones actor Indira Varma actually posted on her Instagram about finishing filming for the show. Kenobi is said to take place 10 years after Episode 3 Revenge of the Sith, filling in some of the gaps of Kenobi's time on Tatooine before Episode 4 A New Hope. Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen will be reprising their role as Obi-Wan and Vader, respectively. Exciting news for both of these shows as they seem to be on track for their 2022 release date. So much Star Wars content to look forward to. Finally, for all you soundtrack nerds like myself, here's a great one to end on. From a recent tweet from the Kiner brothers, Volume 2 of the Bad Batch soundtrack just came out. Some highlights from the album include another Sid's Jukebox mix, which is a super fun track with some lo-fi hip-hop, 80s synth-pop, and a delightful assortment of other musical oddities. There is the beautiful track Flying is a Feeling, the exciting Bane vs. Shand, and my personal favorite, the tearjerker Leaving Camino. If you haven't already, highly recommend you give it a listen. And that's it for now. Thanks so much for watching. My wife and I are just a couple of simple Star Wars fans trying to make our way in the galaxy. Please remember to hit that like button and consider subscribing to our channel for more of the latest in Star Wars. Hope to catch you on the next video, and remember, the Force will be with you, always.